My son-in-law looked me in the eye, raised his hand, and struck me across the face. The sound of the slap echoed through the pristine white kitchen like a gunshot. My cheek burned, but what hurt more was looking at my daughter. She didn't scream. She didn't run to help me. She just stood there, holding a lit cigarette and blew smoke into my face. "This is our house, Mom," she said coldly. "If you don't like the rules, you can sleep on the street." In that moment, something inside me broke. But it wasn't my spirit, it was my silence. They thought I was just a helpless, sick old woman living on their charity. They forgot that before I was a grandmother, I was a survivor. And I had friends in high places that they knew nothing about. That night, locked in my room with a bruised cheek, I made 3 phone calls. And the next morning when the doorbell rang, my daughter and her husband realized they had made a fatal mistake. I'm Martha. I'm 62 years old, and this is the story of how I walked out of that house and burned their perfect lives to the ground.
Before we begin, I want to know who is listening to my story. Please, write in the comments right now. Where are you watching from, and what time is it there? It brings me comfort to know I am not alone. To understand why that slap hurt so much, you have to understand what I gave up for that girl. My husband, Henry, passed away when our daughter Jessica was only 12. It was a heart attack, sudden and cruel. I was 38 years old, a widow with a grieving child and a mortgage I couldn't afford. I didn't have a college degree. I worked in a textile factory in Ohio for 30 years. It was brutal work. The air was always thick with cotton dust and chemical fumes. We didn't have the safety regulations back then that they have now. I worked 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week, standing on concrete floors until my feet bled. But I did it for Jessica. She was brilliant. She had big dreams. She wanted to go to business school. She wanted to see the world. I looked at her homework and saw a way out of the factory life for her. I saved everything. I wore the same winter coat for 12 years. I clipped coupons. I ate toast for dinner so she could have meat. By the time she was 18, I had saved $28,000. It was my life's savings. I handed it all to her for her tuition at the state university. "Make a good life, Jessie," I told her. "Don't break your back like I did." And she did. She graduated with honors. She got a job in luxury real estate. She moved to the city, bought a condo, and started driving cars that cost more than my house. I was so proud. I thought I had done my job. Then, 6 years ago, she met Richard. Richard was a corporate lawyer. Handsome, wealthy, and arrogant. He looked at me like I was something he had stepped in on the sidewalk. But Jessica loved him. They got married in a lavish ceremony that I helped pay for, even though I had to take out a loan to buy my dress. After the wedding, the calls stopped coming. The visits stopped. I became an obligation, a Christmas card once a year. I told myself it was okay. She was busy, she was successful, but the factory air finally caught up with me. 2 years ago, I started coughing. It wasn't a normal cough. It felt like my lungs were filled with cement. I couldn't catch my breath. The diagnosis was COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The doctor told me, "Martha, your lungs are scarred from the dust. You can't work anymore. If you do, you'll be dead in a year." I had to retire early. My pension was tiny, $1,200 a month. Rent was $800. Medication was $300. Utilities and food, well, the math didn't work. I held out for 6 months, eating instant noodles and skipping doses of my medicine. But when the landlord raised the rent, I had no choice. I called Jessica. Honey, I'm sick. I can't afford my apartment. Can I stay with you? Just for a few months until I get Section 8 housing. There was a long silence. Then she sighed, a heavy, annoyed sound. I'll have to ask Richard. She called back an hour later. Fine, but there are rules. You stay in the guest room. You keep your medical equipment out of sight. It depresses Richard. And we need rent. Rent? I asked. Yes, $600 a month. That was half my income, but I had nowhere else to go. Okay, I whispered. Thank you, Jessica.
I moved into their mansion in the suburbs on a Tuesday. It was beautiful. White marble floors, high ceilings, a pool in the backyard. But from the moment I walked in, I wasn't treated like a mother. I was treated like a servant. Don't touch the white sofa, Richard told me as I carried my own bags up the stairs. We don't want factory dust on it. My room was the smallest one, down the hall. It was clean, but cold. I tried to be useful. I cooked dinner every night. Pot roast, lasagna, the things Jessica used to love. Too much salt, Richard would say, pushing his plate away. Mom, this is too greasy, Jessica would complain. I cleaned their house from top to bottom. I did their laundry. I ironed Richard's shirts. And every month, on the 1st, Jessica would stand at my door with her hand out. $600, Mom. Don't be late. She was making $200,000 a year. Richard was making double that. But they took half of my disability check without blinking. But the worst part wasn't the money. It was the smoke. My doctor had been very clear. Martha, no smoke. Cigarettes, fireplaces, candles, avoid it all. Your lungs are at 40% capacity. Jessica knew this, but about a month after I moved in, she started smoking inside. I came downstairs one morning gasping for air. The kitchen was filled with a blue haze. Jessica, I wheezed, please, you know I can't breathe around smoke. She took a long drag and looked at me. It's too hot outside, Mom, and this is my house. She blew the smoke right into the air conditioner vent. It circulated through the whole house. I spent nights coughing until I saw stars. I bought an air purifier with my grocery money, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't just a bad habit. It was cruelty. She was suffocating me day by day, and she didn't care. Then came the doctor's appointment that changed everything. My breathing had gotten worse. I needed to see a specialist downtown. It was a 40-minute drive. Jessica, I asked, could you drive me? I don't have a car anymore. She was sitting on the couch, scrolling through Instagram. I can't, Mom. I have a nail appointment. Please, I begged. I can't afford a taxi. Take the bus, she said, not even looking up. I took the bus. 2 transfers, 90 minutes in the sweltering heat. By the time I got to the clinic, I was nearly fainting. The doctor was furious. Martha, your oxygen levels are dangerously low. You are breathing in toxins. You need to leave that environment immediately. I can't, I cried. I have nowhere to go. I took the bus home. It took 2 hours because of traffic. I walked through the front door, exhausted, dizzy, my lungs burning. I walked into the kitchen to get a glass of water. Jessica and Richard were there. They were drinking wine. And Jessica was smoking. The room was thick with it. Please, I choked out, covering my mouth.
I just came from the doctor. My oxygen is low. Please put it out. Jessica rolled her eyes. Oh my God, stop being so dramatic, Mom. It's one cigarette. She took a drag and exhaled. I waved my hand to clear the air. I can't breathe. Just open a window. That's when Richard slammed his wineglass down.
"Shut up," Richard roared. He stood up. He was a big man, over 6 feet tall. He loomed over me. "I am sick of your complaining," he yelled. "We let you live here. We feed you, and all you do is whine." "I'm not whining," I whispered, tears streaming down my face. "I'm dying." "Then die quietly." He raised his hand. I flinched, but I wasn't fast enough. His palm connected with my cheek. Crack! The force of it spun me around. I grabbed the counter to stop from falling. My hearing went fuzzy. My cheek throbbed with a heat I hadn't felt since I was a child. I touched my face. My hand came away shaking. I looked at Jessica, my daughter, the girl I had worked 10-hour shifts for, the girl I had sacrificed my life for. She was sipping her wine. She looked at Richard, then at me. "You provoked him, Mom," she said calmly. "Go to your room." I didn't scream. I didn't fight back. I turned around and walked up the stairs. I heard them laughing as I closed my door. I went into the bathroom and looked in the mirror. A red handprint was blossoming across my left cheek. It was already turning purple. I took my phone. I took a picture, then another, then a video of me describing exactly what happened. Then I sat on my bed. I looked at the photo of my late husband, Henry. I'm sorry, Henry. I failed her. I raised a monster. But then a different feeling took over. It wasn't sadness. It was rage. Cold, hard rage. I wasn't just a mother. I was a worker. I had survived strikes, factory shutdowns, and poverty. I wasn't going to let these 2 spoiled children destroy me. I picked up my phone. I made 3 calls. Call number 1. Samuel. He was a high-powered attorney now, but 20 years ago, he was a broke law student who worked part-time at the factory. I used to bring him lunch because he couldn't afford it. I helped him pay for his bar exam fees when his father cut him off. "Martha?" he answered. "Is everything okay?" "No, Sam. I need help. I've been assaulted." Call number 2. Sarah. She was an investigative journalist for the city paper. I had sat for interviews with her years ago about factory safety conditions. We had stayed friends. "Sarah, get your photographer. I have a story for you. Elder abuse in a $1 million mansion." Call number 3. Emily. Emily was a forensic accountant. She was my niece, my sister's daughter. I had helped her escape an abusive marriage 10 years ago. "Aunt Martha?" she answered. "Emily, I need you to look into Richard and Jessica's finances. Something isn't right. They spend too much." I hung up the phone. My cheek was throbbing, but for the first time in months, I slept peacefully. The next morning, I woke up early. I dressed in my best clothes, a simple navy skirt and blouse. I put on a little lipstick, but I did not cover the bruise. I went downstairs. Jessica and Richard were in the kitchen drinking coffee. They didn't look at me. "Don't forget rent is due next week," Jessica muttered. The doorbell rang. "Who is that?" "I'll get it," I said. I opened the front door. Samuel stood there in a charcoal suit, looking like the wrath of God. Beside him was Sarah with a cameraman, and behind them was Emily holding a stack of files. "Good morning, Martha," Samuel said gently. He looked at my bruised face, and his jaw tightened. We walked into the kitchen. Richard stood up. "Who the hell are you? Get out of my house." Samuel slammed a folder onto the marble island. "My name is Samuel Thorne. I am Martha's attorney, and you, sir, are in a lot of trouble." Jessica stood up. "Attorney for what?" "For assault. For elder abuse, for financial exploitation," Samuel said. "We have photos. We have bank statements showing you taking 50% of a disabled woman's income while you earn $500,000 a year." Sarah, the journalist, stepped forward. "I'm with the City Chronicle. We're running a series on how the wealthy mistreat the elderly."
This photo of your mother's face is going on the front page tomorrow." The cameraman snapped a photo of Richard. Flash. Richard went pale. "You can't do that. I'll lose my clients." "You should have thought about that before you hit a 62-year-old with lung disease," Sarah said. Then Emily stepped up. "I looked into your accounts, Jessica. You're claiming your mother as a dependent for a tax break, aren't you? But you're charging her rent. That's tax fraud." The room went silent. Jessica looked at me. "Mom, stop this, please. We can talk." "We're done talking," I said. Samuel handed them a paper. "This is a restraining order. You have 1 hour to vacate the premises while Martha packs her things. If you interfere, the police waiting outside will arrest you for assault right now." I went upstairs. Emily helped me pack. It took 20 minutes. I had so little. When I walked back down, Jessica was crying at the kitchen table. Richard was on the phone screaming at his PR firm. I stopped at the door. "I loved you, Jessica. I gave you my life savings. I broke my back for you." "Mom, I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I was just stressed." "No, you were cruel, and cruelty is a choice." The aftermath. We settled out of court. Samuel made sure of that. They paid me $50,000 for pain and suffering. They returned every dime of rent I had paid, tripled. Richard lost his partnership at his law firm when the story came out. No one wants a lawyer who beats his mother-in-law. Jessica lost her real estate license for 6 months due to the tax fraud investigation. Their reputation in the community was destroyed. I moved into a nice, quiet apartment in a senior living community. It has a garden. The air is clean, no smoke. I used the settlement money to set up a scholarship for children of factory workers. 6 months later, Jessica came to my door. She had a check for $10,000. She looked thin and tired. "I want to fix this, Mom," she said. I didn't open the screen door. "I can't buy me, Jessica," I said. "Keep your money. I have peace now. That's worth more than you can ever pay." I closed the door. Conclusion. I sit on my porch now, breathing clear air. My lungs are scarred, but my heart is healing. I learned that family isn't about blood. Family is about who respects you. If you are listening to this and you feel trapped or small or invisible in your own home, please speak up. You are stronger than you think. You have dignity, and no one, not even your own child, has the right to take that away from you. My name is Martha, and I finally have my voice back.